What's happening, family, and welcome to the podcast In the Black of My Mind. My name is Al Thomas. I'm your host, and I want you all to kick back, get you some, get comfortable, get a pillow if need be, get you some popcorn and your favorite beverage, and come on and enjoy the ride with us. Our guest today is a professional touring, recording, and teaching bassist who has had the pleasure of playing with a number of well-known artists and venues all over the place. So welcome to the podcast, one of my big brothers, Howard Cloud. How you feeling, bro?
Oh man, feeling great, brother. Thanks for having me, man. This is a great podcast, man.
Oh man, I appreciate you, man. I'm
Yeah.
so glad you agreed to do it, man.
Yes, sir.
You know what's interesting though, when I started putting this together, preparing for this podcast today,
Hmm.
I was saying, man, I've known you for like half a century,
Correct.
but I don't know you, man.
Well,
You
isn't
know
that
what I'm
something,
saying?
man? That's right.
You know what
You
I mean?
know, it's a thing, man. And once things started hitting from me, uh, it took me. I mean, my growth years
Hmm.
in Stanford, man, playing, in the community, playing on the outskirts, hitting around New York, and going back home.
Hmm. Hmm.
Uh, you know, that was a foundation. But I got into more of the touring stuff and
Mm,
playing, out of the United States really early.
mm, mm.
Yeah, and that's how that works. And man, we've seen each other coming and going
Oh yeah,
and
oh
doing
yeah,
all that. So
yeah.
that's the way I think life works. But I will tell you this, man. I always represent not just Connecticut, man, but Stamford, Connecticut.
Stanford, no doubt, no doubt.
And that's a big deal for me. It really,
Oh,
really is,
I
man.
know that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
us. Yeah, I've not lived in Stanford since '76,
Hmm.
when I left and went into the military.
Yeah.
You know, came out after 3 years and went to undergraduate school at
Hmm.
Southern. But again, I still rep Stanford all the time, man.
Yes, sir.
And it's interesting because I tell people all the time about the kind of community that we grew up in, and that's not been a lot of people's experience and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just really really interesting. And the transformation that you see. If I don't know when the last time you've been back to Stanford,
It's been a while. Yeah, it's been a
bro.
while.
You wouldn't recognize it.
Wow.
You it looks like New York City.
Right.
If you are like in a car at the top of West Main Street looking
Right.
down,
Yeah.
all across, all you could see is skyscrapers and the tall buildings all over the
Right.
place, man. Just whereas before you could see none of that
Right.
stuff before, and the South End. They have new streets down there, man. In fact, they don't call it the South anymore. They call it Harbor Side, I think it is.
Oh,
And
they changed it.
oh, bruh,
Harbor Side.
yeah, I mean, beautiful buildings,
Mhm.
high rise condos and luxury apartments, and down there by the water, they
Yeah.
have really nice upscale restaurants, and yeah, nothing like the South End that we
Yeah.
grew up in and stuff. It's just
Yeah.
interesting.
Well, my sisters are still there. Lulu, Louise Cloud,
Yeah, yeah.
Gail,
Hmm.
and Dana. And they kind of fill me in, especially Lulu, man, tells me
Hmm.
down at Columbus Park, which is like a big concert venue kind of
Oh yeah,
vibe.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
crazy, man.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. And who did we open for? The Neville brothers there. We opened for Dionne Warwick
Oh man.
and Chubby Checker.
Well, he's still doing the twist,
He's still
you
doing the
know.
twist, bro. Yeah. I'm like, man, please, okay. I ain't mad at you. I'm not mad at you. Now, you were born in Stanford as well?
I was born in Stamford, Connecticut, man.
Right, born and
Yes,
raised in
sir.
Stanford. Yeah.
Right up on Waverly Place, just outside of the village.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, and
Which is no longer there, but that's
right.
another story. Yeah.
And I'm hearing about that as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then from there, man, right to the west side.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and we had a little bit of a stint on the south end,
Okay.
but the majority, man, on Ann Street. right there off the west side between West Main and Richmond Hill, man. That
Yeah,
was the
yeah,
yeah, that's where
yeah.
everything happened, man. It was great.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I told a couple of people that that you were going to be on the podcast today, and they said, "Oh, my cousin Teddy
Oh
Collins."
yes,
Yeah, yeah. They
yeah.
said, "Tubby." I
Oh,
was
that's
like,
right. That's
where
right.
did Tubby come from?"
Well, man, I love some food as a kid, man. So that's.
Nice,
I had to grow a
nice.
little bit, but in the meantime, man, I put on a little bit of pounds, and
Okay, okay.
that nickname stuck to me, man. So
Yeah.
that is I actually use that name now. So it's Howard Tubby Cloud, and the name of the band is called Zenith.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice,
So
nice.
we had a performance probably about 3 weeks ago, man, at a great jazz venue here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, called the Outpost.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice,
yeah.
nice.
But that's how that came, and it sticks. And I tell that story when I'm performing, man. And a lot of people get a kick out of that, man.
Oh, cool,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, my nickname, is Bucky,
That's
and
right.
my father nicknamed me Bucky. My mother nicknamed me Dennis,
Oh,
Dennis the Menace. So if someone calls me
I
Bucky,
get that.
I know. So if somebody calls me Bucky, I know they know me. I know that
Right,
they're just friends of mine. If somebody calls me Dennis, that's family, because
right.
only family know that name. So you
Yeah,
look, don't. And those of you all that did watch this podcast, don't walk up to me calling me Dennis, because y'all don't know me
yeah.
like
That's
that. Y'all don't know Dennis.
right.
So, hey man, so did you play music in school?
I did not so much like in a school setting early on, though. I'll have to say I did more vocal stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did
Hmm.
madrigal group. I did, um, it was in middle school because I went to Turner River Middle School,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
and there was a
That's it. I.
teacher that said, "Hey, well, I did madrigal. What is that?" And man, that was my first experience, man, with listening to harmony. You know what I
Mm.
mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
With other people singing, and that's what happened for me musically. Didn't do too much other than that in high school,
Mm-hmm.
um, because I was working with Chuck Dudley. So I
Oh,
went to Chuck
yeah.
Dudley, and he was teaching me, theory, the basic
Mm-hmm.
theory. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it was all by ear, man, up until I met him.
Okay.
And little did I know that he was giving me charts once I got everything flowing as far as the reading and identifying chords. And I end up going out on regional tours with him with the
Oh, wow.
Big Leg Bates variety show.
Right,
And I
right.
was 17, man. I had to
Oh,
have a
wow.
chaperone.
Right. Oh, up in the Poconos and stuff.
In the
Yeah,
Poconos,
yeah.
we were in Philadelphia, Pittsburgh. It was called, he called it the Hilton Circuit.
Okay.
Yeah, it was nice, man. It was
Nice. Oh,
great.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah.
It was a great deal, man. I mean, it
Yeah.
would start off with a piano player that comes out like a Liberace type of cat,
Mm-hmm.
and then from there, a comedian would come out.
Okay.
Yeah, they had dancers, and then it led up to the big band with vocals and instruments. And then after that, once everything that they said, yeah, get the kid to the hotel room, man, because
Yeah, right, right. Because things getting ready to
that's
pop
right, that's
off
right,
here.
that's right.
You mentioned Chuck Dudley, man. It's interesting because most of the brothers and sisters that play guitar or bass in the Stanford area
Yeah,
all came through Chuck Dudley. And
of course, man.
yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Talk to me about Chuck. About Chuck, I knew him, but I didn't know him. You know what I mean? I knew him, and
Yeah,
he knew me to speak, but that was about the extent of it.
yeah, man. It was interesting because I was under the impression that, and this same thing happened, through the rest of my musical career as far as teachers were concerned and professors.
Hmm.
Well, he was a guitar player, so I'm like, okay, so I'm a bass player. So how are we going to gel on that? You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Hmm.
But he knew what was happening, man. He
Mm.
really, really did. The first thing, because I mean, my mom's music collection was absolutely amazing,
Wow.
and she listened to an artist, Wes Montgomery,
Well, oh man.
right?
Oh
Yeah.
man. Yes.
So
Yeah.
when I first heard him play, that's exactly, he had that vibe. He had that Benson
Hmm. Hmm.
kind of Wes Montgomery vibe.
Okay.
And I studied with him probably before I did the band thing for about 2 years,
Oh, cool,
and
cool,
I was
cool.
shedding, man.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was doing weekly, so I had to go back and I shed during the week, and then come up and do some West stuff. The Thumb,
Mm-hmm.
he really helped me through the blues, helped me to the 251s, all
Okay.
that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would just when I get together with the cats and older musicians, I wasn't that lost.
Oh,
I get
okay.
a little lost, but I stayed on the page a little bit. But yeah, he was a big influence of to what I am today, man.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then from there, it was with the cats, man. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
I played with the family band with Cookie and
Oh
and
yeah.
and and Doug and Flea.
Hmm.
Um, I did that thing for a while, and then with George Green and Carl Gray and Ernie Rivers, we went off and did a thing as well. And
Okay. Okay.
Gigi might be embarrassed by this, man, George Green, but
Yeah.
he was like one of the guys, man, that even playing. I mean, he would give me bass lines on the lower part of the instrument, and he exposed me, man, to my first taste of harmony in the R&B, funk, soul thing.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, and
Wow.
once I
Wow.
got that, I was off and running, man. We spent a lot of time in the lab there, man, on the West Side,
Hmm.
and then we kind of did our thing from there.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gigi doesn't play anymore, huh?
Yeah, I know that guitar's got to be around there
Oh
somewhere, man.
man.
Yeah, yeah. And he says that, man, and I just hope, man, that he just pulls it out and does his thing. And
Something.
actually, what happened, man? My first bass I got from my uncle, right?
Uh-huh.
And Gigi had like a Gibson at the time, man, and we did a gig at a community center, man, down on the South End.
Mm-hmm.
Man, we packed our gear in. We both had our instruments, man. We came back, them boys were gone.
No.
Yeah, I'll
Gotcha.
never forget that.
Dang.
Yeah, that was devastating.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh,
I'm
that was
sure.
devastating. But
Dang.
we rebounded. Come on,
Mhm.
man.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
He had one. Mom's got me a Fender bass. That was my first. I had like a Kalamazoo bass, one of those kind of Sears Silvertone kind of thing.
Okay.
It did its
Okay.
thing.
Uh-huh.
But then I got the real deal, man. I got a
Mm.
Fender bass after that. Yeah.
Do you still have it?
I don't, man. I
Mm.
have Fenders here.
Right, right.
I've got probably about eight instruments, man. Four,
Is that
five,
right?
and six string basses. Yeah.
But is a Fender your weapon
Fender.
of
Oh,
choice?
Fender's home bass, man.
Okay. You got a
Fender
you
is
got
home
a
base.
you got a deal with Fender?
I wish. No, man.
Look, somebody from Fender needs to be
Ah,
watching this podcast, and you need to take care of my brother Howard Cloud. He needs an endorsement deal with Fender. All
I
right,
appreciate you,
y'all
man.
heard me. Yeah, for
Yes.
real, for real.
But as a
Yeah,
bassist,
man.
man, I've got my jazz, my Fender jazz, and my P bass.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, and that's if I go into the studio, usually engineers, that's that sound that they're kind of used to.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Whether it be reggae, R&B, jazz, that's what's happening.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Any of your family involved in music?
No, man, my dad, um, we, I mean, I'm coming from a single family hospital. Once I got a chance to meet my dad, then I learned from that side. That's where all the musicality came in.
Okay, okay.
He played sax. His brother
Mm.
played keys. Another brother played drums, and another brother trombone.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
wow. So they
So
had a
that's that.
in-house
My
band.
dad's side of the family
Yeah,
is
yeah.
is where I get that natural music ability.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, I remember. I think it was Gail that used to dance.
right. And she
Yeah.
played too.
Oh, is that right?
She played too. Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
she was off into more of the coffee house stuff. For all
Right.
those who
Right.
know that term,
Yeah.
she was into like Carole King, James Taylor, and we formed a band early on, man, where we opened uh, um, for the Ohio Players.
Really?
Come on, man.
Wow.
Stop.
Yeah.
Stop it. That
Yeah.
was, oh man. I
Yeah.
mean,
Oh, please. That was the ultimate back then, man.
that's right.
Kidding
And this
me?
was early on uh, when the community center went up and they took over the school, Stevens School.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we were
Man, I
on
played
that
in there
stage.
many days, many times.
Yes, yes.
There's music still floating around in that room.
Oh
Yeah. Oh,
man.
yeah. Oh, so that wait a minute. When Ohio players came to Stanford that time, you opened for them.
Correct.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Got
yeah,
it. Yeah. We Chocolate Milk, I think was the band that we opened
yeah.
for there, and did I wasn't with them at the time, but Climax.
Oh right.
They played for they opened for Ohio players too.
Yeah,
So shortly thereafter
yeah,
I started playing with them and played with them for a long time,
yeah.
up until I went in the military. But man, that center used to have all kinds of
Everything,
yeah.
man.
I remember the Delphonics were there,
Right.
and oh man, some yeah, really,
It was just a nice experience, man, growing up
really.
where we grew up, man, and
Oh, definitely.
just on the west side. I mean, there was other things
Hmm.
going on, but man, it supplied all the musicians, man, with a very very rich foundation. I
Oh,
mean,
no doubt, no doubt.
Marion was up the hill.
Yeah,
Um,
Marion lived 3 doors down from
okay,
me.
gotcha.
Yeah, and Richard McGee lived across the
Right.
street.
Yeah.
So I would have jam sessions with both of them all the time and stuff, man.
Right.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it
yeah.
was it was it was all around, and I got a little bit of rock, in playing in Stanford and in the surrounding areas, and
Mm.
then we went to the fusion stuff, man, and
Okay.
that's when a lot of stuff started taking off, man.
Mm.
It was really very cool.
So it was with Chuck that you basically started playing professionally.
Yes, I mean, with the Peg Leg Bates variety thing, that would,
Hmm.
we went from there, and then I met a bunch of cats, which formed the Tomorrow Band.
Oh,
George
okay.
George Pavlise, Danny Picker, and Bill Cerulli,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and so there was my New York connection.
Got you.
I met a lot of guys through them, like Vicky Sue Robinson,
Uh huh.
um,
Turn
a
the
lot of the
beat
other, yes sir,
around.
yes sir, and it's those connections, man. Next thing you know, man, I'm taking the last train into New York and hanging out,
Okay.
at the Daily Planet,
Mm.
doing jam sessions out and about in
Hmm.
Harlem, and just meeting the guys, man. And
Wow.
then it was a connection from there
Mm.
to go out and do my thing. And not too long after that, I did like a summer tour with Norman Connors, and
Oh,
then
wow.
that introduced me to the islands, man, to
Hmm.
St. Thomas, because we
Hmm.
went to St. Thomas, and then St. Croix.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Wow. So who was with the band when you did the Norman Connors thing?
Well, Marion was with the band.
Okay.
Jack Burvick, Duke
Jack. Yeah, yeah,
Jones,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Robbie Ford on drums,
Mm.
myself on bass. Yeah, uh,
Wow.
that was the core unit.
Gotcha.
And we flew right into St. Thomas, man, and the place was just packed.
Oh, no kidding.
Man, what a great reception that was.
Mm.
I really enjoyed the culture
Mm.
immediately.
Okay. Okay.
And I went out, man. I was checking out the soca calypso guys that were there
Hmm.
during the time that we spent there,
Hmm.
and of course the reggae.
Yeah. Oh, right.
The reggae scene is really heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I met my wife out there in St. Thomas.
Hmm.
Long story short, I flew back in.
Oh,
I went
don't
back to
shorten it up. Tell
that.
the
Well,
story, man.
I
Tell the
mean,
story.
tell the
Because
story.
I was just getting ready to ask a question because I had heard some stuff about it's like, yo, you had gotten stranded and stuff over
Well,
there.
there was some little sneakiness going on. You know what I mean? But the brother got skills. I'm from the
Definitely.
west side. We know how to move around. And yes,
Yeah.
well, I met her and end up flying to St. Thomas.
Mm.
and just reestablishing myself and getting everything together. I went home and finished a bartending course. Check that out.
Mm.
All right. That was weird
Okay.
because I just, wanted to do some bartending. I think it was a great deal just to play music and maybe make some extra money bartending. And I
Right.
put those skills to work in St. Thomas, man.
Oh, oh, cool, cool.
Working at some amazing restaurants
Wow.
on the waterfront,
Uh-huh. Oh,
and
wow.
I was getting bank immediately.
Hmm. Hmm.
That was very, very cool. So yeah, we both left and went to New York, and we lived in the Bronx. We got married in '86,
Hmm.
and then living in New York, I played so much music, man.
Oh, I can only imagine.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I even had a gig, man. One of my good friends, a saxophone player, said, "Yo, Cloud, yeah, man, are you available for a gig?" And he said, "Yeah." But what? I said, "What time is it?" It's from 12 to 4. I said,
Mm.
"Man, I got a gig, man." He said, "No, man, 12 a.m. to 4 a.m.
Mm.
Out on West Broadway. One of the best gigs, man.
Really?
Oh yeah, yeah. Brother was tired, but
Oh, I'm sure.
yeah, and I did that. I did that twice a week.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I did that twice a week, man.
Wow.
So I would
Wow.
hang in town instead of going all the way back up to the Bronx.
Uh-huh.
Hang out with some cats, have some dinner. Every
Hmm.
once in a while. Not, I would go back and then catch the train. It'd be pretty tight, just to check in at home,
Hmm.
and then go and do the gig, and then they have me back home in 5 o'clock ish,
Right,
like that.
right.
And then from there we went back to St. Croix
Mm.
when our daughter was born.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
that was my broadcasting stint because I was doing voiceover work in New York
Oh, no
at a
kidding.
radio station. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it was called In Touch Broadcasting,
Hmm.
which was a radio station for the visually impaired, for the blind.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would go in the morning and read for 2 hours, and then they would rebroadcast it, uh, around 6, 5 o'clock later
Mm.
that day. So I'll go in, earlier on Sunday, and they rebroadcast at 5. So that set up everything, man. For when I went back to St. Croix, I worked for a local AM station,
Mm.
which really had me, learning about the culture, man. Yeah, that was great, man. I met some amazing DJs and musicians during that time,
Hmm.
and then I went to an urban station for 2 years, and then I went to an adult contemporary station, 5 radio stations,
Oh, wow.
and I was a production director, and I also produced my own show
Hmm.
during that time as well. So Shades of Jazz, man.
Oh, nice.
Yes,
Nice, nice.
yes. So I had to run some jazz stuff on Sundays, like big band and like some sounds of Sinatra, which was great. I learned so
Uh,
much from doing that. And then I had my own thing um, for 2 hours, and then I'd have special guests. As a matter of fact, who came on, man, from the States? Bob Baldwin.
oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
And Bob was on the was when I went out with Norman. That's where I met Bob.
Oh,
Uh,
okay. Okay.
yes, yeah. So and then it all happened from there, man. And end up coming back. Well, ended up coming back to the States. Landed here in New Mexico, and I've been
Mm.
here for 20 plus years.
Now you went directly from the islands to New Mexico.
Yeah, man.
What brought that on? I mean,
Well, we kind of did a little bit of research
hmm.
because I had an opportunity to go to Philly to
Uh-huh.
do some radio stuff. And
Hmm.
I had a good friend of mine because I was doing voice imaging for like ABC TV, some of the stations there in St. Thomas and St. Croix. And she told me, "Cloud," and she was from Philly. So I
Mm.
love this in Philly, but man, you got to give your girl a little bit of a better because it's a little bit of rough country, and not talking bad about Philly, but at that time,
Hmm.
uh, we had to make that decision to do the best that we can, man, for our girl.
Right,
So
right,
we did some
right.
research here, and the schools here were amazing.
Hmm.
Um, so we decided to give it a shot, sight unseen, man.
Wow.
Yeah, check
Wow.
that out.
Okay.
And yeah, my wife was like, "Oh man," because it was Mountain City, no blue water, no
Wow.
surf to
All
occur.
right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yes,
my daughter and I
you
was like,
landlocked
"Let's
over
go,
there.
Dad." Yeah.
Wow.
So we've been here. She loves it here. She's an acrylic artist,
Oh
so she's
wow.
been doing some gallery stuff. She did property management for a while, so
Hmm.
she's been in the art world now for 4 years. Our daughter is in upstate New York, just outside of Albany now,
Okay.
and my oldest Summer is still in Stanford.
Okay.
Yeah, she's doing her thing, man. And
Nice.
my grandson is out on the water in the Navy, man. I don't know if he's in Korea or Japan.
Hmm.
And my granddaughter's getting ready to graduate this year from high school. So yeah,
Wow. Yeah.
yeah.
Blessed man.
Come on, man.
Blessed and highly favored.
Come on.
Yeah. Yes, bruh. So now, listen. Have you done a lot of tours or?
Not so much. I mean, I get calls out
Mhm.
since I've been here. I'm playing with a steel pan player
Oh
here.
wow.
Yes, Frank Lido, man, this dude is ridiculous.
No kidding.
So I do an annual thing with him
Uh huh.
right here in the city, where it's a big production. There's a dance company that plays here called the National Hispanic Culture Center. But I also, when I get called out, I work with Joy Harjo, um, um, who is the poet, and she calls me out to do some things, and she
Hmm.
flies me out. I've been to Alaska and
Oh wow.
all different places in Texas and
Hmm.
New York and all that good stuff. She just stepped down maybe about a year ago from her position as the poet laureate. I was invited to Washington D.C., man, for some groundbreaking stuff, man. So I'm going to be in
Mm.
the I'm in the archives, man.
Okay.
So she was, I played with her during her induction.
Oh okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that was a great gig, man. It was truly
Uh.
a moving situation. She's a native uh, out of um, Oklahoma,
Mm.
uh, and she's writing books. Her poetry is just amazing. So
Okay.
we would play on the smaller stuff where she would fly us out. We would play behind her poetry, and she also played sax. So uh,
Mm.
and she does her thing. So she does the Native American, her cultural thing, and then her other love is reggae. So we'd be busting out some reggae stuff as well.
Oh nice.
Yeah, yeah,
Nice. Nice.
yeah.
Um. Any memorable moments out on when you're out?
Um, I just think, man. I mean, musically, uh, there's a lot of things that go on, man, that you just never forget. But
Mm.
all this just comes back, man, to where I grew up, man.
Mm.
And I studied with a cat, Jerry Jamont, um, who was the first, you know, teacher to tell me, man, that take that 360. It's just not just the music alone.
Mm.
All everything, your family, your friends, really affect how you play the music,
Mm.
and
Hmm.
that's an important thing. And if I had to say that to any young musician who may be listening, uh, we just have a tendency, man, to just as musicians, that's what we do, but it is all connected, man, to everything else, man. Me growing
Oh,
up on the
definitely.
West Side, my friends, uh, but memorable moments, man, I would say, is I did a world music festival, man, in Anchorage,
Oh wow.
Alaska.
Hmm.
Oh man, it was well, the cats that I went out and toured with were the top of the musician. But again, for me, I love learning about different cultures.
Oh
Here in New
yeah. Yeah.
Mexico, it's multicultural.
Mm.
Yeah, that's what's happening. So you have native Anglo and Hispanic here. Now
Hmm.
there's you know there's African coming here. Well, of course, African American, which
Hmm.
is a low. I mean, I first moved here, man. I was looking for the block. It's a cloud. No, and I mean, you would see soul food restaurants and everything, but it's not like going to any because usually here in the Southwest, everything is just spread out. It's like
Okay.
it's got that California touch
Mm.
um, when you come here. But yeah, something that I'll always remember is doing Anchorage, Alaska, and really meeting some amazing musicians who at that time. I met a lot of Russian musicians who were
Wow.
there because that's where they lived, and it's a
Mm-hmm.
big. I don't know if they have an Air Force base there, but it's a military, big military facility here,
Mm-hmm.
there in Anchorage. So, and I was there like about a week and a half. Was one of the first places where we flew
Oh
in,
wow.
and
Okay.
we had a
Okay.
chance because usually we fly in, play that night,
Right. Right. Right.
play the next night, play again the next night, and then fly out.
Gone. Yeah. Yeah.
But here we had a chance to walk around for a couple of days, have some of
Mm-hmm.
that great food,
Right.
and then we end
Interact
up
with
going to
folks.
Fairbanks, which was
Oh
cold.
wow.
Yeah, they flew us to Fairbanks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's that Alaska thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got out there. We got out the airport, man, and got into a van. I said, man, this is ridiculous.
Yeah. Man,
Yeah, yeah,
I've
but we
only
had a
been
great
there for a
time, man.
short period of time. A
Where'd you say you went
layover
to? Where'd you go to?
at Anchorage
Okay.
for a short period of time. Well, I had a long layover in
Yeah,
Anchorage,
yeah,
and so at first we said, "All right, man, maybe let's get out of here. Let's go, get a taxi or something. Let's get out of here. Let's go see something."
yeah.
But I looked out there and I saw all that snow and all that. It was cold and stuff,
Yes.
man. It was in November, and I'm like, I ain't going. I'm gonna stay right here in the airport, man. I ain't doing that, because I was on my way to Korea and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I'm good. But hopefully one day I'll get back.
Right.
Nice out there.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place, man. And I don't know, man. We may take a trip on out there uh,
Mm,
to Anchorage and check it out. It wasn't too bad of a flight, but I think we have our more of our eyes on the Northwest right now, just a corner that we haven't been in since living on this side of the planet.
oh, okay, okay.
Seattle, Oregon.
Yeah,
There's some really nice places up there that we hear,
yeah.
so we may get a chance to do that. But for right now, man, I went back to school and uh, I got an associate's degree, basically in teacher education.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got my bucket list thing out the way. I went to Berkeley College of Music. I was online, graduated from there,
Mm-hmm.
and recently with a master's in special education. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm a special education teacher, teaching grades 3 through 5, so third,
Okay,
fourth, and
okay.
fifth grade.
Now, what was the program that you're in Berkeley? What
It
program was
was
that?
called an interdisciplinary program, which was absolutely amazing. So you get a little bit of everything. I mean, you get the music stuff that the music courses and some of the things that you do but you also learn for law, international marketing, um, all those other skills
Mm-hmm.
uh, that you will need, man, to be a
Mm,
successful musician. Because a lot of that, I mean, if you're going in just for the musicianship part of it, then you got to develop those skills once you get out of there, after
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
this, you get it along the way. And then so you come out, man, like fully armed to really push your musical career forward.
Mm.
Yeah.
Nice, nice, nice.
And I would say, well, online, well, first of all, it's cheaper.
Mm. Oh, right, right, right.
Brick and mortar, man, you know, that's expensive. That's an expensive gig. So,
Understatement. Yeah.
but I mean, the work was just as challenging, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
they test you out. Once I signed up, they called me and said, "Hey, Cloud, look, we only have this amount of seats left, and this was for online,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll let you know in 2 weeks." I'm sweating, man.
Oh wow. Yeah, 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 yeah,
Come on, man.
yeah.
I didn't have to audition or anything.
Uh-huh.
Just based on experience, which was a very cool thing. They
Oh,
asked me
okay.
some
Yeah.
questions, about that.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, if you're just coming out of high school, you got to get some repertoire together, and
Right.
there's a faculty there, and they're sitting down. You go ahead and do that. But we've been playing for a while, man, and I thought that was the absolute coolest thing. They said, "Yeah, man,
Yeah.
you don't have to audition. It's
Right.
just getting the seat. Long, Next thing you know, man, they called me. They said, "Congratulations, you've been accepted."
Mm.
And I got my behind kicked, man, for the next 2 years.
Oh man, I would love to have gone to Berkeley, man. I
Yeah,
don't know that I have the mental capacity anymore, man.
yeah,
You know, after working in higher education for like 35 years,
Yeah, yeah, I
bruh,
get it.
I don't, I applaud you, man,
I
because
appreciate that.
I, I don't know that I could, man.
Yeah,
What a blessing, though.
yeah. It was a great experience,
Mm,
and you take what you apply,
mm-hmm,
whatever sticks. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm,
But it's about foundation, and
mm-hmm.
you know about that, Al.
Oh yeah, no doubt,
Um,
no doubt.
you come from a good musical foundation. I mean,
Mm.
those courses just add on to what you
Right,
already have.
right, right,
Yeah.
right. Um, and you teach too, don't you? You
Yes, not as much these days.
mhm.
When I first moved here, whew, yeah, I had about 30 students.
Oh really?
Yeah, and it was, across the board, man. So I had, elementary school, middle school students. I had band students from high school, and I had a couple of university students as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, wow.
Um, um, and then, adult students, man, who come in and, what I found out, you have to have a patience and a knack for teaching both young women and men who have never touched the instrument.
Right, right, right.
Yeah, so, no, a lot of the guys want intermediate players have been fun, but it's just more. You get a more of a sense as a teacher of accomplishment to see somebody who didn't know anything,
Right,
and they
right,
leave
right.
there a year later, man, and they're going in the band. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They
yeah,
had a
yeah.
chance to audition. It builds up their confidence, and they're off and running, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was a little bit, you know, if you didn't do your work, man, I'll give your parents your money back, and you're gonna have to get on out of here.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
That's how
yeah.
I grew up.
Right.
And they know. And somebody told me, Clyde, you're going to be teaching. Man, I said, nah, man, not me. I'm not going to be doing any of that. I just want to be on the road and,
Right.
write and do that. But that's an important part
Mm.
because if you teach, that means you know. I'm not going to teach anybody something that I don't know how to do.
Right,
You know what
right,
I mean?
right.
So yeah, that's an important gig. So that's as far as my teaching. I don't do that as much anymore. So I'm really back on the composition level,
Mm.
doing a little bit of that, just finalizing my licensure stuff here at the school.
Hmm.
And I practice every day still, man. I get
Oh
up in the
yeah.
morning and go through my 45 minutes of practice. I'm an early riser, so
Oh, sorry.
yes, sir.
Yeah.
I
Well,
touch my instrument before I go to work, man.
wow.
Yeah,
It's interesting. Um, we play golf early in the morning.
right.
So, I'm on the golf course. When the weather's nice, I'm on the golf course 5:45,
See, that's the best
6,
time, man.
6. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Oh,
Definitely, man.
yeah.
But if I'm not playing golf, don't seem to be able to get up, man. If I'm playing golf, I don't even have to, I'll set the alarm, but
Yeah,
I'm up before the alarm goes off.
right.
If I'm not playing,
Yeah.
man, shoot, today I think I was in bed till 11 or something like that, man. I
Yeah,
just,
for me, average, I get up at like 4:30.
really?
Uh, Sometimes at 4, but just average time is
Hmm.
my time
Hmm.
is like at 4:30. I gotta have
Wow.
I like that time in the morning.
Oh, I hear. What
I'm a
time you
little
go
bit
to
of a
bed?
well, here's the deal. When I get home, I do a little nappage, man.
Okay.
Take a little siesta.
Uh-huh.
That's part of, and I got used to that from doing that work at school, man. So I would come home from work, and then I have to cut that computer on, man, and
Mm.
start doing the coursework.
Mm.
But I tease a buddy of mine because we both do the same thing. I can power nap for a half hour, 45 minutes.
Oh
I'm ready
yeah.
to roll, man. So that's in my deal. And I'll
Mm.
go to 12 sometimes or however. And my girls get on me for not sleeping enough, but
Mm.
weekend time, like, Saturday morning, Sunday mornings, I sleep a little bit later, 7
Okay.
o'clock.
Man.
Yeah, I'm bad news, man. I got
Yeah.
issues, man.
Not at all. Not at all. Um, how did the pandemic affect you and the music?
Man, that was everything shut down here.
Mm.
basically. I was fortunate enough. I worked at Santa Fe at a K through 8 school in
Mm.
Santa Fe, New Mexico, which is about an hour's drive
Oh wow.
from here.
Mm-hmm.
So I was able to teach online.
Oh, okay.
So that kept, you know, kept some money coming on in.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as the scene was concerned, it shut down, man.
Mm.
I mean, there was a lot of people getting sick. I lost some good friends
Yeah. Yeah.
with COVID, and you know,
Yeah.
even on a national level, man.
Oh yeah.
You saw what was happening,
Oh, definitely.
and it was basically the same thing here.
Mm.
Uh, you know, I just kept my fingers crossed for a lot of my buddies who were just doing music.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah. It was bad.
it was bad, man.
Yeah. It was
It
bad.
was, it was no place to turn. I didn't really want to listen to too much what was going on as far as the media thing because they scare you deaf, man. Come on, man.
Bro. Yeah. You ain't
I
lying.
didn't want. I just, you know what? And I took a couple of shots.
Mm-hmm.
I got COVID a couple of times,
Mm.
but I didn't get rocked. You know,
Right. 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 Right.
I just did an isolation thing, man, to stay away from family.
Mm-hmm.
Here at my home, and and that's what it is. And everybody encourages you to rest and get well, man.
Right. Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? Rest
Yeah.
and get well. I had a buddy of mine, a drummer, man, who got slammed, and
Mm.
he is really just coming back.
Really.
Yeah, maybe.
Wow.
I talked to him probably about a month and a half ago, and he was oxygen tank, all that kind of stuff. And he's a drummer, man. So
Oh
you
yeah.
know
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
physical
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a physical gig, man.
Yeah.
And he got nervous, man.
I'm sure. I'm
He
sure.
got really, really nervous, man. Panic attacks and all that kind of stuff. But
Mm.
yeah, just like anywhere else, man, here in the Southwest, it's slowly but surely got brand, and it's vibrant, man. We got a vibrant scene.
Mm.
So what
Mm.
happened was, um, it brought a lot of breweries here.
Oh, okay.
Oh man, we got breweries everywhere.
Mm.
You know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So there's a couple of new venues that have opened up, and of course, we talked a little bit earlier about the casino scene,
Mm-hmm.
and even that they weren't doing hotel stuff. They shut down. So if you were counting on that for money,
Right.
that
Right.
wasn't happening, and you know that was basically, and that lasted maybe for about a year and a half, almost 2 years
Right. Right.
before everything. But it's back. The wheels are turning, man. I'm so happy, man.
Yeah, I know that's right.
You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
can go out and play, or just go in, because there's a lot of times I don't want to. I don't, man. I don't feel like playing.
Mm.
Cloud, come on up. I was like, no, man. Let me just drink a little brew.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch
Yeah.
y'all, man.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Let me be entertained, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And those are things you look forward to, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. But here we are, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Getting up in the morning, trying to each and every day, Al.
Yeah. Mercy.
Yes.
Put one foot in front of the other.
Yes,
Keep
sir.
going.
Yes, sir.
Give the man upstairs some thanks. Who were your role models with respect to bass?
I would have to say one was Jerry Germana, and I told you as far as the live thing, because he gave it to me, man, because I thought I was all that, man.
Mm.
I was slapping and playing and all
Mm-hmm.
that, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But he broke me down to the essentials.
Oh wow.
So that's where a lot of that is. I was able to grow from there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'll tell you somebody else who helped me out overall in the jazz part of it is Phil Bowler.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I studied with Phil. I studied some upright just before I left Stanford.
Mm-hmm.
And man, this cat gave me so many tools, man. There were different things, man, that I had to get as far as technique, musicality,
Mm-hmm.
ear-wise, and man, he just took the time. And of course, I got a chance to see him play quite a bit.
Yeah.
and really listen to what's happening. But as far as the recording part of it, man, um, um, Larry Graham
Oh,
was my guy.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, as far as, I mean, of course, technique, but his groove in space,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um, Jaco Pastorius,
Jocko.
um, Verdine White, Charlie Mingus, Ray
Mm.
Brown. I mean, the list goes on. And then I had a teacher, a professor um, at Berkeley College, uh, Anthony Vetti, and we were
Mm.
like, like we are, same
Mm-hmm.
age level,
Mm-hmm.
but it was about the conversation, just like you and I are having.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't, he knew that I can play. I knew that he could play.
Right.
He would give me my assignments, and he didn't, usually at Berkeley, because one of the first questions I asked one of the professors was like, okay, so if someone's been playing for just a couple, maybe a year or two, and then what they have is a beginner, like intermediate, and then the pro level
Oh, okay.
assignments.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
That they give the different students, because there's students of all ages, man. Now, with everybody doing it online,
Right.
um, and so my boy said, "Now, Cloud, because sometimes, man, I'm playing, I'm doing my thing, so I may take like the first level, second level. Hey, man, I completed my assignment. Oh man, but when I had to have the one-on-one, oh, he would chew me out for doing like a level two, a level one. You know what I mean?
Right.
Oh,
Right. Right.
we vacationing now, huh, Cloud?
Oh man.
So those type of experiences, man, and I have a lot of his books um, that I have here and still, in my computers.
Mm.
Those some of the things that affect. And now it's the youngsters, man. The Adrian Farrows, Mono Neon.
Oh yeah. My,
Those are the young players now.
yeah.
I'm getting a kick, man, out of Christian
Yeah.
McBride.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. Yeah.
they have so much to say, man.
Oh,
And
exactly.
it's not just bass. I mean, it's also keyboard players, drummers. I just love players, man. Drum
Mm.
players, man. Drummers are just because I mean we lock in. I
Right.
mean
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
we
Yeah. Yeah.
that's the thing, and I
Yeah.
always go back. It's funny, man. Um, uh, what is it? Rodell.
Rodell Cummins. Yeah. Yeah. Rodell at
Rodell
one
had
point. Yeah. Man.
that
He
fat
had.
pocket, man.
Yeah, he had all the gigs sold up in Stanford at one point, man. He's
Rodell was the
playing for
guy.
everybody's band. Yeah,
That
oh
dude
yeah.
was the man.
He's tough. Tough.
And also, my main man from the West Side is Ernie Rivers,
Ernie.
because
Oh yeah, yeah.
those, they had different styles.
Right.
Rodell had that heavy kick.
Yeah, more aggressive.
That's right. Whereas
Yeah.
Ernie had that light feel, but that funk
Mm-hmm.
thing
Mm-hmm.
was happening. And then, of course, one of the first drummers, man, that really blew my mind is Ronnie Wise. And I don't know if you remember Ronnie,
Yeah.
man, with Walter
Yeah. Oh
Benjamin.
heck yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
he was way beyond, man, his
Mm.
skill set.
Mm.
And if I left anybody out, man, apologies. But
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
that's those three kind of stick
Wow.
with me, man, as far as coming up and locking in.
Ronnie Wise. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah.
I used to hook up with him when I was in the military. I was in the Army. He was in the Marines.
Okay.
And there was another brother from Stanford that was in the Air Force. So the three of us used to link up down when I was stationed in D.C.
Yeah.
We used to link up down there. I hadn't seen Ronnie. I hadn't, well, that was back in the day. That was in the 70s. So,
Yes, sir.
wow.
Yeah. That's going back. That was right there on the community center right there, man, down
Yeah.
on the hill.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, the Academy of Soul, Generation Gap, I guess, over there where Duchess used to be at
Oh, right.
downtown Stanford. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. They had a, I'm trying to think. Oh,
What was that
Street
place?
Corner Symphony with Roy.
Bass player.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I know
Roy.
exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It was Hanky too, right? Remember Hanky, the bass player?
No,
Oh
no,
yeah,
no.
yeah. And I
Larry
forgot.
Johnson
Yes, right.
played bass.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, Larry. Yeah,
yeah.
but had the Butch Mason and his cousin Heavy Mason on saxophones, and
Oh man,
uh,
yeah, we going back, bro.
oh man, wow, yeah, 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 yeah,
I
yeah.
can't think of the name of that place though. That was right next to Curly's, which I hear is still there.
Yeah, that was
Right? You know that
yeah,
parking lot there, and then you go
right,
downstairs,
right.
right?
That was at one point it was Academy of Soul.
But it was
Another time
something.
um, it was Soul Generation or Generation, something like
Something
that.
like that. Well, that's
Yeah,
where we cut
yeah,
our teeth down there,
yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah.
Herman
Yes, I was a
Lingard
little
and
bit
Joe.
young, so I had to
Yeah.
sneak in there and
Oh
stuff,
yeah.
man.
No,
You
man. Now
know,
we were everybody had a fro back then.
exactly, exactly,
That was a great
exactly.
scene, man. That's where we cut
Oh,
our teeth.
yeah, yeah,
You know, we
yeah.
saw everybody's music. You know, whoever's band was there, we go and support them, and
Hmm.
vice versa. If we played, you know, they would come on down and support us. That was a great scene, man.
Oh,
Great
no
scene.
doubt, no
Yeah.
doubt. You know, it's interesting because I was telling someone not too long ago that we used to have these battles of the bands
Yeah.
in Stanford back in the day. And I remember being in one at West Hill, and there was, man, there's probably 13, 14 bands on
Right.
this Battle of the Bands.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's 13, 14 bands in Connecticut anymore,
Right.
you know,
That's the thing.
unfortunately.
Yeah. I think technology, um, and of course, you know, how things move on, man.
Right, right.
You know, I learned a lot about that again at Berkeley, and then at any other institution, man.
Hmm. Hmm.
You know, you're studying with 20 somethings, 30 somethings,
Mm.
and you get a different perspective.
No,
And,
definitely.
it's the same thing.
Hmm. Hmm.
You know, it goes the other way around. But that's, you know, that's how that go. And I hear a lot of musicians here that have been back, you know, during our time, and you know, they talk about the days but you know, that technology is something else, man.
Mm.
It's
Oh,
absolutely
definitely,
amazing. I mean,
definitely.
my bass rig now is so light.
I'm sure.
Cats be mad. You know, I used to have to hump like a 215 with a big old heavy head. You know,
Hmm.
1 o'clock,
Hmm.
2 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
Now I pick up this same thing and it has the same power. One hand, you know, something a bass a head that I can put over my shoulder, and
Hmm.
I'm off and running, man.
Right. Right.
You know,
Yeah.
uh, uh,
I'm the keeper of the PA system.
oh, you are.
So,
Or you.
man, yeah. But you talking about? I had all of this heavy JBL equipment and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
The eight the 18 the 18-inch bass bins, and you know, 15 on the tops and stuff, and then these heavy amps and all of the
yeah,
outboard gear. And
yeah,
man, I traded all that stuff in, and now I got one bass bin, powered bass bin,
yeah,
that's 3,000 watts,
yeah.
and I got two 12-inch for the
You're powered.
top,
Yeah.
powered,
Yes.
that
Yes.
are 2,600 watts
Yeah.
each,
Yeah.
you know, and I
It's
got
beautiful,
a
man.
couple powered monitors and stuff, and
Yeah.
then my QFC mixer with all of the effects built into it and stuff, you know, digital mixer and stuff, you know. So I, you know, before it take, you know, two, three people to carry all that stuff. Now, man, I can just throw that stuff in the back of my car and
And
keep
you're
it
off and
moving.
running.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
And again, that's how it moves, and you know, it's going to keep moving. I mean, things, you know, I don't know if you go to the NAM thing,
I've
the
not
NAM
been.
shows.
I keep saying
Yeah.
I'm going. I have
Yeah.
not been
NAM
yet.
is a great thing.
Mm.
Uh, but you know, they have the summer NAM and then of course winter NAM, and in
Right.
between those, which is NAM for all those is it's kind of like a merchandising show for new instruments that are coming out and all that
Hmm.
good stuff. But
Hmm.
it's the technologies have changed. 6 months, you got something you can't keep up with that.
Right. Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? You just can't. You'd be broke, man.
Oh,
So
no doubt. No doubt.
that's how things go, man. That's the way it is.
Mm.
But like I said, Al, I'm enjoying the life, family, playing lots of music. Um, and just enjoying everything.
Nice. That's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing. I really hope you all are enjoying this podcast. I know I enjoyed doing it. There was so much information that I had to cut it in half. So come back next week and get part 2. Do me a favor and subscribe, share, and like. Y'all be blessed.